My name's Dave Landrum. I'm the Senior Parliamentary Officer for Bible Society and the Executive Administrator for the all-party parliamentary group Christians in Parliament.
Dave, can you tell us a bit about what it is you do in Parliament?
Well, I'm in Parliament for Bible Society to do what's called Bible advocacy work. Bible Society still produces, distributes, translates scriptures all over the world, but in our own culture, it's not an availability issue that we've got, it's a credibility issue. So my role really is to raise the profile, the influence, the effectiveness of the Bible in our political language and in our political culture. Part of the reason for me being in Parliament is that I also administrate the all-party parliamentary group for the Christian community in Parliament, which is called Christians in Parliament. So I provide some administrative glue, some communication for all the Christian MPs, peers and the staff, and there's a large and growing Christian community within the Palace of Westminster.
How did you end up in your current role?
I ended up, or this is where I am now, due to the guidance of God. I was saved about 18 years ago in North Liverpool. I come from a pretty non-Christian background, and God took me on an educational journey which in successive years meant me doing, well, not successive years, but in successive sequence meant me doing A-levels and a degree and then a PhD in political philosophy. I was teaching politics and sociology, particularly the sociology of education, and then this role come up for Bible Society in Parliament, and the more I read into it, the more I understood that Bible Society was started by William Wilberforce and others within Parliament, and it just seemed right.
What advice would you give to young people who feel called to engage in politics?
My advice to young people who are thinking about politics is to do just that. Think about it, read about it, talk about it, look at some books on political theology and ask the Holy Spirit to guide you through the Bible on what God might have to say about politics. I mean, one of the problems is with Christians is we find it difficult to differentiate between politics and government. And God might not be interested in politics in the way the expenses scandal, say, portrays politics, but he's really interested in government. And by government, I mean the right ordering of our relational priorities. The Bible has got a lot to say about this. God has got a view on these things. He's got a manifesto, and it pays to get together with people who are like-minded and to think about politics in missional terms, because politics is a mission field.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit more about your upcoming Susan project and the road shows that will be accompanying that?
Yeah, the Susa resource is a Bible Society resource in partnership with lots of other organisations such as 24/7 Prayer, Kirby Lang Institute for Christian Ethics, Salvation Army, CARE, Christians in Politics, Christians in Parliament. And it's basically a resource, a web portal that draws together everything that's out there to help Christians engage more effectively, more extensively in politics, and to equip them to see politics as biblical, as missional and as possible, to provide the means to engage. So what we're thinking of doing this year, what we are doing in March and into May, are a series of road shows around the country in various cities to basically unpack that for local church congregations and to engage them in these big issues relating to politics.
Dave, how would you respond to those who might question whether or not the Bible is actually relevant today, or perhaps some of us in our congregations who perhaps don't give the Bible the place it deserves or that it should be in?
The Bible is very, very relevant to politics because it speaks about God's heart for the way we organise our relationships. From Genesis to Revelation, every single book of the Bible talks about the sovereignty of God over our lives. It tells us who we are, the Bible. It tells us that we're children of God, we're all created equal and unique before Him. That brings in the issue of equality in politics. Equality is really important. It tells us that we're free, that we have freedom of choice before God. That brings in the issue of liberty and liberalism in our Western culture. The Bible speaks about all sorts of different things, community, the values that we have in relation to economy. The Bible talks a lot about the poor and the rich, and we really need to take hold of this. In this year, we're celebrating the 400th year since the creation of the King James Bible. This is a publication that's had, above and beyond every other publication, an impact on our culture. And it's an encouragement to Christians because it shows what can be done if we take the Bible seriously in our culture.
That's great. And what do you have to offer youth pastors or youth organisers?
For the youth pastors and youth organisers, SUSA has a whole range of materials, such as study materials and links to different sites and materials to engage young people in thinking about politics in missional terms. There's a lot out there, and what SUSA does is it tries to draw it together.
Great. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome, Francesca.